an accurate image of what he looked like. Jesus Christ was non-white. And this is the proof of it. The catacombs of Rome that we utilize in the images. Or if you even take a cut of the catacombs and we make that a poster and a picture, and we use that on an image, and we prove to the people like, well, this came from the catacombs and the early Christians who martyred that we read about in the Bible and the early histories. These are the ones, this was the image of Jesus that they knew, because many of them didn't live that many years from the time of Jesus, and it was known what he looked like. This was passed on. So for someone, this is an accurate image of what he looked like. Jesus Christ was non-white. And this is the proof of it. The catacombs of Rome, the historians, Tacitus, others, giving them all their proof. The same historians that they referred to prove other points about Jesus, we can use many of those same historians to prove that he was black and that the Israelites were black. You understand? Or considered Ethiopian, a race of the Ethiopians, right? But I thought about it. I said, wait, they took down the image of the white Jesus, which correspond to the fiery serpents in the wilderness that poisoned and killed the people, so many of the people, and infected the people, because even the people who didn't die by the bite of the serpents, they were sick. They were sick. In other words, they wasn't well. It's like you can imagine it was like a plague. In other words, the bite of the serpent produced a plague, just like the bite of the white Jesus. The whitewashed Jesus has produced a plague too. And we can really see this, if you want to get a object lesson, we can see this in Ethiopia. I mean, look at the Ethiopian situation today. Almost a majority of churches, since the rebellion against the King of Kings, since the rebellion against the elect of God, against Haile Selassie I, the majority of churches that we see in Ethiopia, you understand, now have a whitewashed Jesus or a Jesuit Jesus and a Jesuit Mary. A whitewashed Jesus and a whitewashed Mary and other whitewashed saints. And when you look at these pictures, and I love art. I've actually, when I was in school, it's one of my favorite subjects, like, even though there was a lot of white pictures and Greek, Roman stuff, but I liked art, and being an artist, I liked art, so I really studied these arts, and you see this style of picture, you're like, wow, the same guy who drew this picture was the guy who drew this picture, then you put it together, and you see it's the same artistic style. Like, the truth about Michelangelo and even Da Vinci was that these people were persecuted, these artists. Part of their secret society information that they had, they knew that Jesus was black and Mary was black. And we even have an incomplete picture of, who was it? Was it Da Vinci? I think it was Da Vinci. I don't know if Michelangelo, but it's in a Michelangelo Da Vinci style, where you can see the features of the Mary that he was going to draw are black, but it's an incomplete sketch. The interesting thing about an incomplete sketch is that it's not complete, but if you look at it, you can see the fullness of the lips, the fullness of the nose, the features of the face. It's a black woman, and even the baby is a black baby for Jesus. But of course, at that time in the Roman Empire, they couldn't have that. So Ethiopia is a prime example of the destruction, the spiritual warfare and the destruction of a people, because in Ethiopia itself is where we, as black conscious people and Ethiopianists and Egyptologists and black Egyptologists and others who were searching for the half our story, Ethiopia is where we found the black images of Jesus. Ethiopia is that place that was secluded and isolated from the Roman Catholic, white Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, Christian world, that preserved the true images of Jesus. And then it hurts us to look in these churches and among so-called Ethiopian Christians today, and they have totally been whitewashed. And most Ethiopians accept the white images to be Jesus. And this is a powerful example of how far the devil has deceived the world. But it's interesting, because coming back to America now, and a lot of these black Christian churches that have taken down the white Jesus, they haven't put up any Jesus. Have you noticed that? Now imagine if after the people were bit by a snake bite, by the fiery serpents in the wilderness during the time of Moses, if Moses disobeyed, was disobedient. Remember what Moses was told to do? Moses was told to make a brazen serpent, which in a sense could be considered as an idol. Some of the technical legalists could say, Moses, you told us that we're not to make any images to bow down or to worship them, but what are you doing, Moses? You are making a brazen serpent. Of all the images, you're making a brazen serpent. Why are you making a brazen serpent? Why don't you make a brass lion or something else, or a cow? Why are you making a serpent? He made a brazen serpent, hung it up on a pole, and he was told that all those who had gotten bit and were infected by the devil, that when they looked upon the brazen serpent, on the pole, that they would be healed. And this is what stayed and reversed the plague. But look what's happened in the black churches. Many of them have taken down the whitewashed images. Many of them. Some of them haven't. But many of them have taken down the whitewashed images, the blonde hair, blue eye, and other whitewashed images of Jesus, the Antichrist Jesus, the Zeus Jesus. But they haven't put any black images of Jesus up.
Because they don't want to be labeled.
Exactly, because they don't want to be labeled, but they haven't put any image up. So when we look at Moses' story, because Christ is the one, and this is what's really...
The ones who say it doesn't matter what color Jesus is. He can purple, pink, and yellow.
Yeah, that's foolishness. That is foolishness. Because here's the interesting thing. When Christ in the book of John, right? Christ in the book of John, and this is defending the black Jesus. We got to really defend the non-white Jesus, or...
He got the synonyms for hypocrite. Pharisees.
An accurate image of what he looked like. Jesus Christ was non-white. And this is the proof of it. The catacombs of Rome that we utilize in the images. Or if you even take a cut of the catacombs and we make that a poster and a picture, and we use that on an image, and we prove to the people like, well, this came in the catacombs and the early Christians who martyred, we read about in the Bible and the early histories. These are the ones. This was the image of Jesus that they knew, because many of them didn't live that many years from the time of Jesus, and it was known what he looked like. This was passed on. So for someone, this is an accurate image of what he looked like. Jesus Christ was non-white, and this is the proof of